Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. My name is Scott Morgan, the Motor City Madmouth. We are here in Dyersville, Iowa, the site of the Field of Dreams movie, and I'm glad to be joined by Craig Purcell. Craig, thanks for being on the broadcast.
My pleasure, Scott.
Well, obviously, for a lot of movie goers, okay, I only have to utilize the analogy that Halloween is trick or treat. Folks, being out here on Halloween with the World Series going on with the Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros is a treat to be able to still be involved with baseball. But I think on a very higher level, in a sense, because we're talking history, we're talking movies. So since we're in the home right now, why don't you give us an overview about the home?
Sure. The home that we're in, Scott, this actually has been on the property since estimated early 1870s. It's been through the longest generation was 4 generations of the same family that farmed it from 1906 until 2011. They did receive the Century Farm Award in the state of Iowa for having farmed it 100 years consecutively. That's always big. And a lot of people don't know when they come here, the baseball field portion of the site is a fraction of the property. This actually sits on 197 acres.
Unbelievable. So when you talk about the home, I know that you give a tour. So what are some of the things that, Craig, that you folks mentioned in your tour to individuals?
Well, we begin the tour, and the thing to point out is every one of the tour guides does a different version of the tour. We're sharing the same information, but we've got different ways of delivering. What one person finds more important from their perspective, another may not, but they'll replace it with other useful information that the tour guides, or the tour guests rather, will leave with. We go over the history of the house. We go over the history of the ownership, how it has passed through a few generations. We do a lot of little trivial facts about the movie that the average viewer might not be aware of, how certain scenes were done. A lot of people think that, they probably just used a sound stage and patterned that after what they saw in the house. This is one of the few movies where everything actually was shot on locations. If it looks like it was the house, it was the house. If it looked like it was out on that ball field, that's exactly where it was shot.
So give the audience out here what a tour would be like, Craig, with you actually giving it. I'm a tour guide right now. I'm buying the actual tour itself. So give me your version of it.
Okay, well, it is a paid tour. Prices are $20 is our base price. A veteran's discount knocks $5 off, so that is $15. Seniors pay $18. Kids, here, they're anybody that's under 18, and that knocks it down to $12. They get half an hour to 45 minutes. As we go from room to room downstairs, that drives what we are talking about, but we've got a room that's got a bunch of memorabilia that we've collected since the opening of the movie. Included in that, there are Kevin Costner signed baseballs, a Ray Liotta. We've got a glove from one of the body doubles for the movie. Then you get into the living room, and we'll talk about some of the changes that were made to the house to get it ready for the movie. Because the farmer that owned it at the time, a man by the name of Don Lansing, he had to basically vacate while they were filming. So he ended up in a trailer elsewhere on the lot. Universal had his house for about 15 weeks. The bay window that we're sitting in front of, they added this along with the bay window that's in the downstairs family room. Previously, that had all been corn. There was nothing they really wanted to look at out that direction. Universal knew exactly where that field was going to be cut into the property at, so they wanted unobstructed views and these angles. All the flooring was replaced downstairs. It had been linoleum. It looks like it's the original wood. It is not. They did a very good job of distressing wood from the 1980s to give it an older appearance. So we fill them in with things like that. We also answer some of the more popular questions. Among the biggest is, why was this site chosen? It actually is about a 5-minute part of the presentation. I will just say that it was a lot of work on the part of a person that used to do, and this was a voluntary position. She actually took 2 weeks of her own time and drove just Dubuque County looking for sites that fit a certain group of qualifications that Universal had provided local film offices. So it was a result of a whole lot of work on the part of one to even locate the spot. Once that made the list of potentials, they did physical site visits. Once they came to Dyersville, they had more stops left. I'm not sure how many more. They canceled those. They said, there's no point. This is where we're going to film.
No kidding. You know, folks, what's amazing is I'm sitting on a bay window with Craig, and if you're in on the second level, you can actually see the playing field where the MLB game was played earlier. I believe it was the, go ahead, we talk about the
Yankees and the White Sox.
Yankees and the White Sox. All right, so let's talk about the fact, Craig, is there a typical type of guest that actually, you know, stays in type of place like this?
Well, Scott, we see guests, literally from babies being cradled in mom and dad's arms to people that are well into their 70s, even 80s. Actually, the oldest person that I know personally I've given a house tour to was 97.
Really?
And the one characteristic that I think they all share, and I say this in the nicest way, they are Field of Dreams geeks like myself. You just can't get enough of the movie, enough of the details. You just immerse yourself in the meaning of the movie, the feelings that you get while watching it, why you tear up in certain spots. And there's no one scene that evokes the most emotion. It's different for everybody that sees it because everybody has their own story, their own part of why the movie or the site resonates with them. And I always tell people the best thing about that is every one of your reasons is 100% right. Nobody is wrong in what they think.
Amazingly enough, okay, like I mentioned before, sitting here on the bay window with the Major League Baseball game, which I know will be a regular thing, at least they're talking about it, and of course the lower level. What type of reaction do you get when people look at the field itself when they say, wow, I mean, there's an awful lot out here in terms of scenery and things like that?
That is really the one word exclamation that really captures it all is, wow. You can feel when it's just, they're just at a point of total unbelief where I'm really here. I finally have answered a quest on my bucket list. It never gets old. The people that come here every day, there's new people. Everybody has different stories. They are very willing to share those, not just with me as a tour guide. They'll share them with perfect strangers. You meet people out here and maybe you're wearing the same team hat. Okay, you're going to start up a conversation. Maybe you hear somebody speaking in the same regional dialect. Oh, are you from the coast? You just strike up friendships. You'll have complete strangers volunteering to, oh, here, I'll take that picture for you. Everybody gets along here. So, when people will do the quote from the movie, oh, is this heaven? I know the answer is supposed to be no, it's Iowa. But when you think about a place where everybody gets along, it doesn't matter what jersey you're wearing, it doesn't matter young, old, there's no political parties. Yeah, this is heaven.
Do you get a lot of media coverage when people come out here? I know that nowadays you and I are both newspaper guys that, we have a big history in the business. And now there's more digital media than there's ever been involved, as well as television stations. So who knows countless of media coverage that you'll get. And I know that you guys will take any amount of good publicity to draw people over here. But what would you say the media coverage is of the people you putting it on their bucket list to come through here?
Oh boy, I couldn't even begin to tell you the number of media people that come through here. People from even overseas. And it never really follows a pattern. People will just show up. Some call in advance, let us know they're coming. But they normally then will also, depending on their deadline, you will normally see them leave a little bit of time in there where they can just be people enjoying the field as well. They're not here just covering the story. They're not just trying to fill page space. As long as they're here, they're going to absorb the field too.
Yeah, I mean, to me, any media individual that comes out here, you've got to really be a media baseball junkie to even come out here. I know that as we were driving in here last night to check out the surroundings, it was interesting to see the field in use last night. I know you had a wedding, which was pretty interesting, and just the whole surreal. And it's good because a lot of people look at, you know, it isn't a very big place, but it didn't have to be a very big place to get the experience. I know, you know what this kind of reminded me a little bit is when I was in Texas and I visited the South Fork Ranch. I don't know if you've ever been there before, where everything appears to be so much bigger on camera, but then you come out to the actual site itself and then you realize how unbelievable the camera angles can be to make a place.
Oh, yeah.
Do you find that comparison is made a lot with South Fork Ranch and Field of Dreams?
Well, not with South Fork necessarily, but we'll have a lot of different people that will say either, oh, it looks so much bigger than it did in the movie, and then the next group you'll go, oh, it's so much smaller than it was in the movie.
Right.
Everybody's got such different perspectives. And a lot of people don't know, again, we had talked about how this is on 197 acres. They don't know that it's not just the field. Oh, we can take tours of the house? I mean, yeah, we have house tours. We've got the event center. We've had wedding receptions held there, corporate events. People don't know that you can rent the house out. If you want to spend the night here, you can get access to the field. We teach you how to turn the field lights on and off. And I mean, what better place than to wake up and see the sunrise over the Field of Dreams?
Yeah, I mean, you know, sunrises, I know a lot of people really get into those. So are there any other things as we wrap up this particular video about the house that people should know about?
Just that people have just talked about how, along with the movie, it's just a magical place. You just feel that connection to the movie. Great care has been taken in recreating as much of the original movie set feel as we could. Obviously, you can't get all of the props and everything from a movie that's more than 30 years old. So you have to approximate a lot of things, but we've had people that, oh yeah, you nailed it. So we're happy to hear that. That's from the public. That's not our interpretation.
Have any of your actors stayed in the house, per se, Kevin Costner or James Earl Jones, or where do these people stay when they're in the area?
It depends.
All right. So anyways, I guess the one thing we should probably find out for a lot of those that are watching is, what does it cost to enter the field?
That's the nice thing about the field. There is not a cost. There never has been a cost. We do accept donations. It's a free will donation only. And anything that we take in there goes directly into future projects to help improve what we offer the people that visit.
And what about the maintenance? Is the maintenance for the field pretty easy for the most part to keep everything going?
Oh, I would never say it was easy. The maintenance people would have a field day with me. We have one gentleman who has cut the grass for more than 30 years.
Wow. Literally
Knows every blade. And he is affectionately known as the godfather of the field. And we have a general maintenance guy that handles all the other stuff. We've got a head groundskeeper. We obviously hope for a lot of rain and just the right amount of sun, but sometimes you just have to hope your dreams come true for a good lawn.
Well, folks, a lot of dreams are in the World Series. Once again, I mentioned this before, the Atlanta Braves are taking on the Houston Astros. And for a lot of you folks that make the trek out here to the Field of Dreams site and hang out in the house, it's your typical, colonial, would you say, for the most part, with a whole lot of history, or ranch house?
I would just say American farmhouse.
There you go, American farmhouse, folks. So an American farmhouse with a whole lot of tradition and a great view of that thing called the ball field, and the one that obviously drew a lot of attention during the summer as well, that will unquestionably draw more attention down the road. So Craig, thank you very much for doing this video. We appreciate it very much. And folks, stay tuned. We'll have another one as Craig and I go to another part of the Field of Dreams site and we talk about the history of the Field of Dreams. So for Craig, this is Scott. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Sports Exchange. Catch you later.